Hello, guys. This is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, coming with another live feed today. And this is something that comes up so much in the questions that you guys were asking and the topics that you wanted to hear about is, well, what about weight loss? Like, what if I really need to lose weight? What if I need to lose weight first? What if like losing weight is an emergency for my health and my life? And that's actually a huge thing that keeps people back from moving forward with fixing their relationship with food, because they see like, well, how can I give up on dieting? How can I give up on weight loss? Because I really need to do that first before I do anything else. So that's why we're doing a whole series about debunking diets. And this is part 3 today. So feel free to, make any comments, to ask any additional questions that you guys have, or just thoughts that are coming up for you. Like, your thoughts, your feelings are completely valid, and probably a lot of other people are going to relate to that too. There's no such thing as a wrong question or a bad question. So yeah, feel free to bring that up as we go along. So really, in this part 3 of debunking diets, we're going to talk about that feeling of like needing to lose weight first. So you're thinking you need to fix your relationship with food, but you have extra weight that you want to get off your body. And the idea of keeping that weight on your body for the rest of your life really feels unacceptable. Like, I have been there. So if you're feeling that way, like, yeah, that's a common way to feel. Like, it's not okay to be where I'm at right now. So you say, yes, I have to do something about this, but I have to get some weight off first. And you say, okay, well, as soon as I reach the weight that I want to be, then I'll stay there by fixing my relationship with food. Like, let me just lose the weight first, then I'll fix some things with how I'm feeling about food, and then I'll be able to finally keep it off. But I just can't do that right now at this weight. So you go on a diet to get the weight off, and it's awesome at first, and you're losing weight, but then you slip up, right? Like, something's off, you feel like you've blown the day, like you have a piece of birthday cake. And then since you blew it, you eat everything off your diet for the rest of the night, knowing that you will be back to your diet in the morning. And I'm not saying this is the way that it happens all the time. This is just a really common example. So you may relate to some of this, you may relate to none of it. And it's all good, because it's going to be helpful principles along the way. So, and you decide that, yes, tomorrow morning I'm going to start fresh, and you do. But then at dinner, you have an extra serving of what you're eating because you just feel more hungry, and then you blew it anyway, so you have dessert, and the pattern goes on. Like, how many of you can relate to this day one, every morning, over and over, right? So let's say, after 2 weeks of day one, every morning you're resolving to stick to your diet 100%. But you find that your cravings for sugar are stronger and stronger than they've ever been. So when you're crashing, when you're off your diet, like, you crash hard and you eat more than ever. Like, have you had that feeling of like, man, why? Like, I wouldn't have even eaten that much sugar if it wasn't like I fell off the wagon, so I'm just going to eat it all, right? It's like, have you ever seen your relationship with food actually get worse when you're trying to make it better? Like, it's really frustrating, right? So I have coached women who have come to me and said, like, I'll give you a specific example of a woman who told me, she's like, Lydia, I spent a year on this diet. So there was a diet she'd done for a year, and it had cost her over $3,000 to go to support meetings. And she said, I've spent over $3,000 and I'm 2 pounds heavier now. So with all the up and down and the misery, she literally paid $3,000 to gain 2 pounds. Because this is the pattern, right? It's like, you might lose a little bit, but then you fall off the wagon, and then you gain it back, and then you're really freaked out now, so now you really have to diet, and so you're going back to it, and we've talked about this in other live feeds as well, right? So if you are concerned, and it's a valid, normal, common concern with like needing or wanting to lose the weight. If you are concerned with losing weight, what if you simply just took out all the extra calories that you were eating because you were trying to lose weight, and just see what happens? A lot of times we feel like we need to, like, okay, well, I need to cut out calories and I need to do a diet. But what if just eating normally without any sort of weight loss expectations actually puts your body in a place that it can, maybe for the first time, release any sort of extra weight without you trying to lose it. It feels like magic, you guys. Like, it feels like magic. Oh, these are great comments. Thank you guys so much for your support here. Like, these are great comments and questions. Yep, and Kim is saying that she saw her eating habits much worse when she was in the diet yo-yo syndrome, right? It's like, this is a huge thing. So here's a little fun thing that comes up a lot. I talk to so many women who say, like, man, I ended my binge eating the whole time. This doesn't always happen this way, but it's a common thing. But I don't want you to feel like this is like how it must be, or if it didn't happen for you this way, like, it's all good. But I have had so many women say that when they were pregnant, that their binge eating just went away, and then it came back once they had their kids. They're like, why is that? So here's my theory, you guys, from the experience of the hundreds of women that I've coached and the thousands of women that I've talked to. What if it was a mental shift of like, oh, I'm pregnant, I can't diet. Oh, I'm pregnant, I can't restrict calories. Oh, I'm pregnant, I need to eat enough. What if that really makes that much of a difference? What if the reason that we're gaining weight is because we're trying to restrict calories to lose weight, and it makes our relationship with food crazy? Like, this is a radical new approach, and I know that it takes bravery. I know it was hard for me to come around to this, but what if we simply focused on our relationship with food for the sake of that, and not our relationship with food for the sake of weight loss? Because what has that done to your relationship with food in the past? And when we just fix our relationship with food so we're not eating all the extra calories because, oh, we fell off the wagon. Like, you can eat whatever you want at any time you want, as much as you want, right? Yeah, and thank you guys so much for these great comments. You know, they're saying it makes total sense. Yeah, I wish I could just not think about it all the time. Oh, I'm so glad that you brought that up. We're going to have another live feed about this too. But that mental obsession with food, thinking about it all the time, there are two things. Number one, it's some sort of deprivation that really drives that up. You guys, I used to think about food all of the time. Like, I would obsess about it. It would distract me from what I needed to do. Like, I wasn't able to concentrate or focus on things. Like, I would just get fixated on it. It was like, until I go and just eat the rest of the chocolate in the cupboard, like, I would do it just to stop thinking about it, right? When you get rid of the deprivation, our thoughts around food change. It's not like, well, what am I going to do because I think about food all the time? It's, how do we get to a place where we send a signal to our bodies that we don't have to think about food all the time because it's not a scarce resource? The dieting, the deprivation really drives that up. So number one is the deprivation that makes us obsessed with food. It's a natural thing, you guys. Okay, so here's a little experiment. If I told you that all the ice cream in the world disappears tomorrow, what do you want all of a sudden today? Even if you didn't want it before. Ice cream, right? Even the thought of not having something will drive up our cravings and will drive up our obsession about it. It's the way that our brain works. It's our survival brain, right? It's like, wait, this is going to be scarce. Well, now we really want it. When we make that shift to that place of like, oh, I can have it at any time, that mental obsession goes away. So the deprivation makes us obsessed. That's the first thing. The other thing is when we are in a habit, because our brain also really wants to perpetuate that habit. So if you've been in a cycle of like binging, restricting, your brain will actually send signals of obsession to just keep you in that cycle. Because your brain is like, oh, look, we've survived for so many years, we're still alive, and we've been obsessed with food and in this cycle. So it'll actually send you messages to keep you in that cycle. So the big key here is to just be able to step out of that cycle. And that's exactly what we do here. That's what I teach in my principles. It's about stepping out of that cycle. So the one that we're talking about today is stepping out of that cycle of the deprivation, all right? So it's a natural thing. When we cut out the calories, a lot of times, you know, the women that I coach, they're eating over 1 million extra calories. You'd be surprised at how quickly it adds up. Calculate how many extra calories that you eat in one binge. Then how many days a week that you are binging on average. And then you have your weekly. Then times it by 52, because there are 52 weeks in the year. And see how many extra calories you are eating. What if you are concerned with weight loss and if you feel like it's an important thing, like what if instead of trying to save, the 500,000 calories by dieting a day, what if you just cut out the extra million calories a year that you're overeating because you're in this cycle? And then it's effortless, right? Then you're turning into a normal eater and you're not eating all of these masses of extra calories. So if you're not at your set point weight, I have a great video on set point theory. If you look on my channel, it's called What Will Happen to My Weight? You can look there and it explains this. When you get all the stuff out of the way, then what happens is that your body can just go back to its natural weight. Your body will stay at an unnatural place a lot of times and be up and down in the yo-yoing, right? Like when we have all of this sort of stuff mentally going on, because your body just doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel like it's going to get the calories that it needs. It doesn't feel like it can step out of this cycle because there's a lot of fear around that. So navigating our thoughts and starting at an internal level, like the things that feel so hard right now, the things that feel so difficult to overcome because we're obsessed about them all of the time, because we're thinking about food, because we have to lose this weight, all of those issues just melt away on their own, including any extra weight because of the binging. Just melts away when you focus first on your relationship with food. Don't have that be a thing you're going to do after you lose your weight, because you can stay in that cycle for literally the rest of your life. There are women who will die at the end of their lives still trying to lose weight and waiting until they do before they fix their relationship with food. And I have seen so many women, hundreds of women, fix their relationship with food first, get the help they need to do that, and then everything else happens on its own. It's such a cool, cool thing. So yes. Oh, I love the comments, you guys. Thank you so much. This is great. Really good questions. Yeah. Oh, okay. So Tasha, great question. Okay. So Tasha says, so I've been doing this for at least 3 months. Proud to say no binging. Yay! Congratulations. That is so cool. Beautiful, beautiful. She says, but I've gained 10 pounds. So how do we eat normally without gaining? Beautiful question. Beautiful, beautiful question. So first, I would say huge congratulations for the not binging. That is a big piece of it. And your body and your brain needs time to solidify these habits. So if it's been about 3 months, that's great. Sink into the normal eating mentality and into this new habit and this new normal. And I know that it sounds difficult. And this used to terrify me so much. I'm not saying that it's easy. I mean, if you want some help and support with that, send me a message. And it's not always easy to do alone, especially let me know if you want some additional support. But really the key is you need to set aside the expectations for your body. Because here's the thing, we'll be like, oh, we're doing better, we're not binging. Oh no, but I'm gaining weight. But now that I'm not binging, I can probably use these tools to be able to cut out some calories here and there. And then all of a sudden we're binging again because we went back to the restricting and we get sucked right back into that same cycle. So I would say you need to find a place where you're ending the binging and a place where you can set aside expectations for your body for a minute. All right. So you can eat normally and then let your body show up how it does. A lot of times we feel like we're eating normally, but we're gaining weight because we're actually still overeating. These same principles can help you with that too. With the women that I coach, this is how it usually goes. So number one, we just get them to end their binge eating. Boom, let's just get the principles in place. And then, oh wow, it's amazing. I mean, I've had just women graduate from the program this week that have been over 30 years binge eating. And they were done in just a handful of weeks. And so once we get that done, then we can use these principles to help them with their overeating, right? Because a lot of times we're gaining weight because, we're still overeating. So that's something to look at. So can you eat normally without gaining? Maybe, maybe not. But what if you did? What if you gained some weight? Because you're gaining weight binging anyway, right? You're gaining weight on the cycle. You're going to eventually as your metabolism slows down, and as we kill our metabolism by restricting and then piling all these calories on it, either way, like you're going to gain weight by not fixing it too, right? So if you feel like you're eating normally but you're gaining weight, take a deep breath, get some comfortable pants, and focus back on the normal eating, on the letting go of the deprivation. I know it is not always easy, and I know that it is sometimes a scary thing, but I want you guys to know that like you need to create a safe space for your body, okay? So like when I ended my binge eating, I gained weight rapidly. Oh my goodness, rapidly. It freaked me out. But you might have seen my interview with Pascal, who is, she's done with her binge eating, and like she's just come so far after so many years. But one choice that she talks about that she needed to make was she needed to choose mental health over physical fantasy. Because we think like, oh, well, if we lose weight, things will be better. No, if we go to that place of we choose our mental health and our sanity, then things are going to get better, and they're going to get better naturally, and they're going to get better in a real way, and they're going to get better sustainably. So you might gain some weight at first, but know that your body figures it out. A lot of times we'll gain like some, and this may not happen, right? So I want you to know, when you end your binge eating, you may gain weight, you may lose weight, you may stay the same, right? So if you do gain weight, sometimes it's just your body like needing to feel safe for a minute. So I gained weight till I got to my set point, and then I gained a little bit of weight on top of that. And then as I just kept going with my normal eating, that extra weight just kind of fell away. I think my body just needed that time, and this is, sometimes the pattern of like, okay, are we okay? Are you really not going to starve us anymore, Lydia? Okay. But I did the work to accept my body at every step of the way. When I had gained weight over my set point, I didn't know that I'd gained weight over my set point. I just said, okay, this is my body now. And so I'm going to learn to accept it because I care more about mental sanity. So number one, let your body do what it does. Focus on your relationship with food. Number two, ask yourself why you're so scared of gaining weight. And this may be some internal work, right? This may be some concepts that you've gotten from society. There are so many messages that tell us that the most terrible thing that can happen in life is for you to gain some weight, right? That a woman's worth is based on her size, that a woman's worth is, a woman is only worth something if she's thin. A woman is only powerful if she's thin. You guys, these are lies. And I know there's a lot of messages telling us that, but you know what? You are brave, you are capable. There are lots of things that you hear that aren't true that you don't believe. This can be one of them. And that's why we have this safe space in this community, so we can be together, to really put that good stuff in our brains that counter those messages. And I mean, there are things that I used to think like that I would rather die than gain weight. I was so scared of gaining weight. But you know what? I was more scared of being a binge eater for the rest of my life. And so I chose the mental health over the physical fantasy. And then we work on just letting our bodies do what they do. So what if you do gain some weight? What's going to happen if you don't fix this? What's going to happen if you don't fix your relationship with food? If we constantly live in that fear of, well, I can't do what I need to do because I might gain some weight, or I did gain some weight, so I have to go back into that cycle of restricting. How long are you going to stay in that cycle? There's got to be a time where you break it, unless you don't. And there's no judgment there too. Like, you can absolutely choose. You can choose to be a binge eater. You can choose to ride this wave of being able to stay at the weight that you want to, or not gain weight. You can ride it for as long as it goes. I give it, if you're young, maybe 5 years. Because what happens is with the binge eating, it destroys your relationship with food. It destroys your metabolism. So what happens is it only lasts for so long. So if you're in this cycle of like, okay, I'm binging and I'm restricting, but at least my weight is staying okay. I'm restricting, I'm binging. Oh my gosh, this is getting worse. The binges are getting worse. The restriction is getting more intense, but at least I'm keeping my weight where it's at. Something will happen, you guys. I am not here to sugarcoat this. I'm going to tell you how it is. Something will happen. You're going to get injured, so you can't work out anymore. You are going to have some sort of health issue come up from this, and your metabolism is going to change, or you can't restrict anymore. You're going to get to the point where you just mentally can't even think of restricting, or it drives your binging crazy. You're going to get to a point where you develop something like an autoimmune disorder or PCOS. The fantasy of being able to manage your weight, even though you feel crazy inside with food, has an expiration date. And some women that I coach, some women that are ready to get the help that they need to move forward and get done with this, some of them are at the place where that hasn't happened yet. And I absolutely applaud that. Some women are at the place where they've already lost health and relationship and spent thousands of dollars and already put on 70 pounds trying to, oh, well, I've got to maintain my weight. Well, I've got to at least maintain 10 pounds weight gain. Well, I've got to maintain this 20 pounds weight gain. Oh no, now I've gained 60 pounds. Well, I can't gain any more. And their weight is creeping up, and every pound they gain is a pound that they still haven't fixed their relationship with food. So it depends on your timeline. Like, how much pain do you need before you move forward with that reality? You can fix your food now, or you can fix your food later. You can gain 10 pounds in the process of letting your body do what it does, or you can gain 60 pounds or 70 or 80 pounds eventually when you still haven't fixed this. So it's up to you. It's not easy to change your relationship with food and accept your body. I mean, I put so many free resources out there. There's a free video every Monday. We have this group. I have my free ebook. Like, it's all out there. Like, I'm fine if that does what it needs to in the world. Like, if everyone could have those resources and they could fix their relationship with food, hallelujah. I'll do something else for a career, right? But the point is that with all of those resources, if that is not fixing what you need to do to move forward, it's okay to get help. If it's not with me, it's with somebody else, right? It's like, but there aren't a lot of solutions out there that don't actually make it worse. So many of the solutions make it worse. So that's exactly why I do what I do. So if that's the help that you need, sooner than later is up to you, right? But there is the help out there to change this. I've seen amazing things happen, you guys. So that's our thing for today. Another debunking diets. You know, when you do this, when you move forward, you must be aware of your thought patterns around food. Like, everything that we do starts with a thought. So anytime you binge or anytime you restrict, it starts with a thought, and not just a thought, but a habit of thought, a thought cycle that you've had before. So what you need to do is you need to be able to interrupt that. And as soon as you do, you don't even have to get close to binging, right? As soon as you understand these things and you see how they apply in your real life, you don't even have to get close to it. You just break the pattern of thought, and then you break the habit of things that you do, right? So that's one thing that you must be able to do to break this cycle. And that's why we're here. So if you want to learn how hundreds of women before you have done just that, we still have some openings. You guys, if you haven't had a free session yet, there are free 45-minute sessions to help you with this foundational step of moving forward and getting the help that you need and being able to just be done with this thing. Like, close this chapter, have peace with food, have peace with your body. You can pop over to lydiawente.com/apply. They usually go pretty quickly, but the last time that I checked, there were still a few more openings on the calendar for sessions. Snag one just as quickly as you can if they're still there. So lydiawente.com/apply to book a session. Just find what time works for you. And feel free to keep on commenting and asking questions. And yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, hey, Lynn. Oh, that's so fun. She says, thought patterns are what it's about. I need help with that. I'm hiring Lydia. That's awesome. So Lynn, go ahead, grab a spot. And that'll be great to get you that first step, and we can go from there. So beautiful. Feel free to keep on asking your questions, you guys. I know how possible it is. Like, I know that a lot of us in this group haven't done what we've needed to yet, right? And the fact that you're here, I want to celebrate that. That's beautiful. So that's a step in the right direction. But I want you to know how amazing it is when you do what you need to, when you do the work, when you find out how this works for your own life. Like, you guys see these interviews that I'm doing, right? Like, of all of the people just graduating from this program that have sometimes been like 25, 35 years binge eaters. Know that it is so possible. There's nothing different about you than them. You're not the only one that this stuff doesn't work for. You if you're still struggling, you just haven't done the things that you need to be done with this. But it's It's a process. It's like a predictable process. This is a skill that I am teaching you guys. We're not looking for the magic and hoping that it sticks. You're not here to just keep on getting information and hoping that something's going to magically happen. It's a real process of like, okay, you do this and you do this and you do this, and then we adjust this specifically for what you're struggling with in your life, and then we practice it, and then we refine our practice, and then we're done. So literally nothing can make you binge. It is a beautiful thing. And this is coming from like binge eater, bulimic for years and years and years, completely obsessed with food. You guys, I was telling somebody the other day, you know, it's like we have a really fun like group video chat with all of the clients that I'm coaching right now. It's a really fun space. But one thing that I was saying is I just realized like, oh, okay, I could be in a room by myself with unlimited buffet of everything that are my favorite foods, and they didn't have any calories in them for this one day only, and nobody would ever know what happened in that room. I still wouldn't binge. I still wouldn't binge. Not because I have the willpower, not because, you know, I found some way to make myself not want food. Literally, just because I don't want to anymore. It's not just about kicking this habit, you guys. It's about rooting out even the desire to. Like, it goes away. It's amazing. And that's the way we naturally are. We weren't born as binge eaters. It's just a habit that you've gotten into. So beautiful. Oh, Lydia. So there's another Lydia, Lydia T, that's commenting, wants to read her comments. Your program works. I am binge free. I have my life back. I'm still overweight, but I am living my life. I love that. Thank you, Lydia. Like, I appreciate you sharing that. You guys might have seen our interview together. Lydia is such a cool woman. And yeah, hear more about her story. And yeah, she's free. How cool is that? You can have your life back. You don't have to wait for anything else to get your life back. Like, you can do that now and then let things happen as they do. So oh yeah. And Janice says, like, I bet this applies to so many other things in life besides food. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, there is a, by invitation only, there's a VIP program that I have that we take these amazing women that I've coached that are free from their food stuff, that are done with their binge eating or their bulimia or their overeating, and we take those principles and we have a program that actually helps them to skyrocket all the other pieces of their life. Now that they are so good at these principles, we can learn we can use those to overcome fear, to skyrocket their careers, to, you know, like have them, you know, the body acceptance and the piece of their body, you know, that internal dialogue, help that to be a friend instead of a foe. Like, you can seriously take these principles and create an amazing, amazing life. So yeah, you're absolutely right. So feel free to keep commenting, keep asking questions. I'll pop back on, but we will finish up for today. Again, this is Lydia, the lifestyle coach, signing off. Mwah. You can get a free session at lydiawente.com/apply if you would like to snag one of those, if you're ready to have this done with and want that first step. So bye, guys.